everyone, hope you're having a wonderful day. Wanted to hop on and talk to you guys about a silly example that God gave me today while I was out driving. And basically what happened was I had plugged in a certain location to my GPS for somewhere that I wanted to end up at. And I thought I knew the area pretty well, relatively well. And I was driving around trying to get to this specific spot. And I thought that the GPS was taking me the long way around. I thought the GPS was not getting me on the right route. And I was frustrated because it looked like the GPS was going to take several minutes longer to get to my destination than if I had just picked my own way to get there. And so I ended up almost trying to turn off and go backtrack to the way that I thought was best. And when I started to do that, I looked, and what was actually happening was there was this ramp that led up onto the interstate, and it looked deceiving. It looks like it would have been the most direct route, but actually that was a ramp that would have led me up to a place that I didn't need to go. I didn't need to get on the interstate. I needed to go kind of under the interstate, and the road that I needed was right across. And so I, very quickly made sure that I stuck to the GPS, and, it didn't look right on the outside, the direction that the GPS was taking me. It looked like I was going the long way around. It didn't look like it was going to lead me to my destination. Like, it was so funny. The whole route just looked like I was not headed on the right track. And then all of a sudden, at the very last second, I showed up at my destination. I recognized my surroundings, and I got exactly where I needed to be. I want to tell you guys today that God kind of functions like that GPS in our lives sometimes. Sometimes we think that we know the shortest, quickest, most efficient way to get to our final destination in our personal lives. We think we know the timing best, the roads to take best, all of that fun stuff. And God goes, you know what? That's what operating by faith is. Operating by faith is trusting my direction even when the sight looks off, even when you can't see the final destination yet, even when it seems like there might be a better way. It's sticking to my voice, it's sticking to the plan and saying, God, I trust you to get me there safely. With me today, I almost delayed my trip by quite a bit, because if I had listened to my own voice, it would have put me in the opposite direction of where I ultimately needed to go to get to my destination. But because I chose to listen to the GPS, even when things looked a little off, it ended up getting me to my final destination a lot faster. Listen to me, ladies and gents. When you obey God, He gets you to your final destination the fastest that's going to be good for you, okay? And I say that I say that with caution, because sometimes we can get ourselves to destinations faster than God will take us there. The Israelites are a great example of this. The Israelites roamed around in the wilderness for years when they didn't have to, just because they were operating out of their flesh. They were complaining. They weren't prepared for war, quote unquote, as the Bible calls it, because they weren't willing to get their attitudes in alignment with God. So therefore, God in His love kept them in the wilderness for longer than the actual journey had to take, just because if He had released them, they were going to have to battle all of these nations, all of these people groups in order to inherit the promised land. And if God had released them to that before their faith was aligned with it, it would have seriously hurt them, right? And so sometimes God does not take us the fastest way from point A to point B in our personal lives. He looks at our character. He looks to see if we are ready for the promise. And then the moment that we are ready, He releases us. He launches us into that blessing over our personal lives. And He knows the correct route to take us. And a lot of times those routes will require us to operate by faith. They won't look like the logical way in our minds or in our imagination concerning a thing. And so that's where we really, really have to trust God and trust that He knows what He's doing. And when the route, quote unquote, seems longer than you thought it would be, and if it seems pointless, the fact that you keep sitting in a waiting season regarding a particular thing in your personal life, I want to tell you guys, it's not pointless. God knows your character. He knows what the strength that you're going to need to sustain that promise. He knows exactly how to get you there and what's going to be best. But you've got to be willing to surrender control. You've got to be willing to trust Him with that stuff. And when you do, and when you let Him truly take control of that car, quote unquote, truly take the steering wheel, He can help to get you there correctly. But He's not going to fight with you. As long as you're trying to pick your own way, He's going to say, all right, I'm going to let you go do your thing, but you're either going to let me drive the car of your life, you're either going to allow me to help with these decisions, with these blessings that I want to bring to you, or you're going to do things in your own strength. But God in his love gave us a free will, and he's not going to fight us over this stuff, ladies and gents. So don't be discouraged if you're in a waiting season, or if your surroundings look different than you think that they should in this current moment in time. God knows the track that he's got you on, and just like me with my silly GPS today, God is more than able to take you on the correct route to get you to your destination. You know, I almost think that God purposefully took me that way today, just because somebody needed to hear this today, where my route was quote-unquote camouflaged from me until right before I hit my final destination, because God wanted me to trust him. Amen. You know, and that's such a symbolic thing of how God works in our lives. Sometimes he will camouflage your route from you. Sometimes he will purposefully hide things from you where you don't know how to figure it out until you are right up on that blessing, because he's not looking to see if you can figure it out. He's looking to see if you have faith. He's looking to see, will you trust me? Will you trust me over this circumstance? Will you follow me in your personal life? Amen. Something to think about. Hope you guys have a great day. I'll chat with you again soon.